Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing some Explorer Best of 1 with a brand new deck to the format, thanks to Darksteel Citadel coming in on the Explorer Anthology. It's an indestructible artifact land. You'd never think that this card alone would spawn some archetypes, but it spawns several, actually. So it's an indestructible artifact land alongside the Cascading Cataracts. And what that allows us to do is play a big red deck using Cleansing Wildfire. It's a 2-mana sorcery that says destroy target land. Its controller searches their library and then puts a land onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. A basic land, that is. So what you can do on turn 2 is Cleansing Wildfire your own Darksteel Citadel or Cascading Cataracts in order to destroy, air quotes, the land, grab another land, and draw a card. So this is rampant growth with draw a card attached to it, which is really absurd. It might not look it, but it does allow for all of our big turn 4 spells to come down a turn early in a red deck. We don't have to run any old nonsense that way, and we just get to redraw into our good spells as well. Alternatively, if our opponent's playing a greedy mana base, we can turn this on them and then hit their like tri-lands and stuff like that. It's not going to come up too often, but it does come up. I have had a 4-color control deck try to beat me, and I just like Field of Ruined them and Cleansing Wildfired them into oblivion because they forgot to put basics in their deck. Ooh, it's lovely when that comes around. Which does make it one of my favourite decks at the moment, because anything land destruction that just has it as a side effect is just a lovely deck. So, this is Big Red. It's also built around Fires of Invention as well. An enchantment that says you can cast spells during your turn, and you can only cast spells during your turn, and you can't cast more than 2. But the upside is you may cast spells for 0 if you have the lands to pay them normally. So if we have 4 mana in play, 4 lands, we can play 2 4-drops a turn, doubling our mana. Fires of Invention is a busted card. It's pretty sweet. Which also allows us to do things with Cavalier of Flame. Many of you might remember this from the old Fires decks. It's a 5-mana 6/5 Elemental Knight. When it enters the battlefield, you discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. So we can get rid of the crappy cards in our hand to get better cards, or we can discard some lands if we want to do that. And that's pretty sweet as well, because when Cavalier of Flame dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of lands in your graveyard, which is pretty awesome. It has an activated ability, though, which combos really well with Fires of Invention. Since we're actually going to be paying 0 for all of our spells when Fires is out, it leaves that mana available for activated abilities. So Cavalier of Flame can activate twice with 5 mana out, giving it +2/+0, and to everything on the board at the time, and haste. Another fun little combo with Cavalier of Flame and Fires of Invention doing that activated ability is if you've got Fable of the Mirror Breaker on the rotated side, transformed into Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, you can pay 2 mana to give Reflection haste, pay the 1 to make a copy of Cavalier, thus getting yourself another 6/5 that can attack with haste, and still has a dies trigger as well. So if you have those lands, you can deal that extra damage to the planeswalkers and your opponent. It's absolutely absurd. I absolutely love it. We also have Karn the Great Creator, which is really well positioned in the format right now. There's a lot of cat oven nonsense going on. A lot of blood tokens in Rakdos midrange and things like that. So Karn the Great Creator does quite a fair bit. Also has a Karn sideboard, a Karn board, which has a number of wonderful things. Treasure Vault to make your land drop. Treasure Vault to make your land drop. Thank you very much. It's an artifact land you can pull. Since we got the Cascading Cataracts and the Darksteel Citadel. Something to note, if you do have 4 Cascading Cataracts, play 4/3 instead of the 3/4 that I've got here. I just didn't have the rare for the Cascading Cataracts, and it's a minor upgrade, but Cascading Cataracts is technically strictly better, because you can use the Cascading Cataracts to activate Golos to exile the top 3 cards of your library and play them without paying their mana cost. So you actually want 4/3 if you can. You don't want any more than that, because you do want to make sure that you've got your double red mana, so you don't want to go too over the board with colourless cards, but 7 is perfectly fine. Back to Karn anyway. The 4th Golos is in here as well, so you could do like Fires, Karn, and then you've got your Karn, grab Golos, play something else turn, which is quite nice. Or if you've got a Cascading Cataract, you can play Golos for free and activate it immediately. Very useful. Crucible of Worlds is in here. As we've mentioned, there are a lot of greedy mana bases out there in the world of Explorer, so Crucible can often be a really good card to grab Field of Ruin, to strip mine your opponent into oblivion. There's also a Memorial to War in here as well that just straight up destroys a land, so you can really attack your opponent's mana base that way. Got a Blast Zone to destroy all permanents with X mana value on them, so again, you can crack that and replay it. It allows you to be a little bit more aggressive with your Den of the Bugbear, all sorts like that. We've got Weathered Runestone and Tormod's Crypt as graveyard hate. Weathered Runestone is good against Collected Company as well, so if you have a Coco deck on your opponent's side, you probably want to be running Weathered Runestone, because that's their way of getting back into the game. So if you disable that as an option, you can often do a number on that deck. And then finally we got Shadow Spear. In case we need the life against something like Mono Red, it's really useful, giving us lifelink +1/+1 and trample. The trample is also relevant against the Cat Oven decks as well. If your opponent is blocking and sacking and returning Cat Oven against your Cavalier of Flame, well, you can go grab a Shadow Spear and give that Cavalier trample to push right through and make that cat really cry. But yeah, this deck's super sweet. It's got a nice positive win rate. It's a very strong deck in the format right now. It does occasionally just like fold and die, but what Magic deck doesn't do that? It is Magic the Gathering after all. It's a skill-based game where nothing comes down to variance at all. But, you know, it is what it is. I've been enjoying this deck a lot, and hopefully you guys do too. If you do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. And without further ado, let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in, and we've got a reasonable hand, I would say. We're on the draw, so if we do need the Strangle, we can fire that off on turn 1. Otherwise, I think I'm probably going to play Valakut's as a land, and then work my way up to Fable into Fires into Karn. So, we'll see what our opponent does here. Arboreal Grazer. Okay, I haven't seen that one in a while. And gets a Temur land. Yeah, I'm gonna Valakut's here. Lotus Cobra. Alright, that definitely wants strangling. Although it's basically getting its value right now. So they like a Genesis Ultimatum deck, maybe with Omnath and that kind of nonsense. Temur Elementals, perhaps. Growth Spiral. And no land. Alright, 3 non-lands in their hand. Well, that's a better use of my mana than Strangle. So let's get Bone Crusher into exile. Two damage over 3. The 3 actually might be relevant. Alright, so do you have a land? You do. Got a land and 3 non-lands now. We get Cascading Cataracts. I'm going to go with the Fable of the Mirror Breaker here. No counter spells in that 3-card hand there. Top deck to land. Just going to get rid of the Strangle. Is it greedy to get rid of the Mountain? A little, but I do have Chandra to produce the extra mana I might need. And, well, there you go. We just drew a Den of the Bugbear, so that helps out as well. So, let's get in with our 2, make our treasure. And then I'm going to go Fires into Or is it fires into Khan, get Golos? Actually, I think it's fires into Khan, get Golos, because then we can Golos Cavalier and then activate a load of times.
Stand down.
Could even be get Sky Sovereign. They've got a Golos as well. Yeah, I think they are a Genesis Ultimatum deck. They've got the World Tree. Sokunzan. Alright, we've got a really cool turn. This is one of the things that makes me love this deck a lot. So I get to Sokunzan, make 2 spirits. I get to Den into Golos, grab a... I'm gonna get Field of Ruin to mana screw them off that World Tree, maybe. Into Cavalier. Keep the Chandra. Enter the battlefield this turn, but I didn't play it. So give me... Let me think about this. Because we can... yeah, we want to go get Treasure Vault. Oh, we have played our land this turn. Oh, that's unfortunate. Which land did I... Oh, I played Den of the Bugbear. I thought I hadn't made my land drop. That was a bad pull. If I had not made my land drop, I could have activated Cavalier of Flame and then gone absolutely crazy here, but now Golos gets to activate instead of being forced to block here, which could be really, 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 really bad for us. Oh no, actually, Golos can't activate, right? They just have a Genesis Ultimatum in hand anyway. Golos can't activate because of Khan. Uginson certainly ruined my entire day, though. So that can -5 and get rid of basically everything. But still leaves me with a fair bit. Yeah, we almost had a really cool turn. Almost. Gunner -5. Alright. This could be so much worse, because it looks like we're going to be able to kill Ugin without any issues. Cleansing Wildfire. Right, well, I might as well play my Treasure Vault. I can activate my Golos, which I think I'll do. Okay. Tick up on nothing with Khan.
Some solutions must be built.
How do we want to do this? We can... We can definitely kill Ugin. Let's see if they want to let us kill their Golos. It's perfect information, so they should know that not to bother. Because some of this has got to get pointed somewhere, and if I attack with the Golos and they block, then they lose it to a Strangle or a Stomp. They're going to lose it to that anyway. I might lose to whatever Golos hits, so it's kind of really important to me that we kill it. I think I'm just going to attack with all here to guarantee the Ugin dies, and then I've got to Stomp and Strangle the Golos. Should be able to pull this off, short of them having Spell Pierce. I don't think they'd have that. Alright, they are empty on board. Keep the Khan. Minus grab.
I am not frightened by you.
They do look like they have a greedy mana base. So Crucible Field might be fun. Don't have to grab that just yet, though. Let's grab Sky Sovereign first. Let's see what you can do with your 3 cards. I imagine they've got another Genesis Ultimatum, right? Or the means to draw into one. No lands. Another Golos. So I could kill that somehow, I'd imagine. Maybe not, actually. Got a Hall of the Storm Giants. Another land. Last card in hand. Not necessarily a playable because they've got a Fable Passage. Alright, yeah, I can kill the new Golos. I'm going to Wildfire their World Tree and see what happens. If they don't grab a basic, I know that I need to go grab Crucible.
It's my turn.
Kill that. They got a Stomp in hand or something? So they could kill the Chandra. Otawara my Khan.
Stop, drop, and roll won't help you.
Interesting. Imagine they're just gonna hit the hall. They've got perfect mana. Let's see if they grab a basic. They should, because they've got Fabled Passage, but they've already got 2 basics out there. So who knows? Hit you for 4. And yeah, they're on top decks now. I don't think I'd concede in their position. I feel like they could just top deck a Genesis Ultimatum and then just like win the game, but maybe because I've got too many colorless sources, like their best draw is like getting Ugin to sweep the board. They're too used to people playing colored spells where they just hit this and it's an I win the game card. I think their Ultimatum deck inevitably doesn't just have an I win the game card in it without the Ugin, so yeah, maybe they see the writing on the wall here, because I am going to activate Golos. I'm going to tick up the Chandra. I've got Sky Sovereigns, more Khans. I've got everything I really need here. I can probably end up wastelanding them into Oblivion eventually. They've probably only got like four basics, maybe even 3. So yeah, it's just a matter of time until their basic count goes down. And I mean, I probably wouldn't even take that line because they're on 12. There's probably a better option, maybe just a Shadow Spear for the extra damage, perhaps, something like that. Who knows? Either way, though, on to the next game. Alrighty then, on the draw, opponent goes first. Our hand is just all removals, so if our opponent's playing a creature deck, we could be in a good spot here. Don't have the artifact for the Cleansing Wildfire. It is a bit of a weak hand, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm gonna place a bet that these Strangles and Stomps are good. If they're not, this game's just over. I mean, this is a mediocre 4-card hand without these 3 here. But who knows? They could also be on a greedy mana base, and maybe hitting their mana with Cleansing Wildfire might be quite good. We could hit a Triome or something like that. Since we won't be ramping ourselves, we might as well make their mana worse, right? Alright, Soulscar Mage. A good Strangle target. Looks like it's going to be like the Boros Heroic list. And in which case, this hand has suddenly turned out to be good. It's actually just mono red. Alright, well I'm going to pass. I'm not going to Cleansing Wildfire the Ruins or my own land to redraw here. I'm just going to hold up and the Stomp. What on earth is going on? Alright, well, now I might actually thin their deck a little bit for them. So let's get rid of the Ruins. I could get rid of the Mountain, but they're going to get another Mountain. The Ruins at least has text on it, that I would like to get rid of. Just checking, they are actually mono red. By getting my redraw, I improve my odds of getting Fires of Invention down next turn, which didn't end up happening. Let's just get a threat going. The kind of mono red deck doesn't have anything to play on turn 3. Wizard's Lightning, take 2. Alright. Bone Crusher did a third of its job. Stomp me, yeah. I'm wondering why that never happened to begin with. And Spectacle. Yeah, why is this suddenly happening? As opposed to just, like, happening ages ago? I don't understand. Something very strange has gone on here. I'm going to take my chance at stomping Soul Sky here. They could have a response, but I don't think they do. Yeah. This game should be over now. Oh, this does hit Planeswalker, and this hits Planeswalkers, so... who knows, really? I'm going to go Fires... kind of like Fire's Golos. Grab a Cascading Cataracts. And then next turn it's Bone Crusher, Cavalier. And then activate Cavalier, maybe get Den of the Bugbear involved as well. We'll see. I think that depends on me top decking a land. Skew up. I mean, all these points of damage that are pointed towards Golos are just the greatest thing that we'll ever see. We did draw the land. So we're going to play Bone Crusher. Going to play Cavalier. Gonna get rid of the Strangle, not gonna need it. Got another Cascading Cataracts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Den. Activate Cavalier. And swing. Disgusting. Alright, what do you do? Do you trade the Bone Crusher? You want to keep your Pyromancer alive. I don't understand that, because if they want to get Spectacle, they've got the Kumanu to do that. And this is a lot of damage that they're not going to be able to take care of very easily. Like, now they're just dead to Chandra's Tick-Up. They're dead to an open board with a Den. They're dead to just Den in general. They're just dead. I don't think they really had any additional hope of winning the game, to be perfectly honest. It's not as though, like, if they did block Bone Crusher, they would be in any better of a position, but I still just don't understand keeping Pyromancer around when you know that this thing with haste is coming through. Because it looks like that was their plan, was light up the stage, ready to go. Now just Chandra, and I put them out their misery. You are dead. Dead in so many ways. Like, if you target Bone Crusher, you lose. I can go around you with the Den of the Bugbear. I've got you dead like 3 different ways.
This'll be easy.
Valakut's Awakening could be fun, but we're not going to do that. Yeah. No need to play with our food there just to see what we might have drawn. And, yeah. Pretty good showing for Mono Red, although, for our Mono Red deck. Not theirs. I don't understand the beginning of that game. If anyone could explain why they suddenly had 1,000,000 1-drops after, like, turn 4, I'd love to know. Because it makes no sense to me. Really doesn't. I guess the silver button here might be right where they belong. I don't know. I'm very confused about how this game went down. Not so confused about how it ended. It was very writing on the wall, inevitable, kind of. The beginning foretold the end. So, either way, on to the next game. Alrighty, on the play, Darksteel Citadel in hand with double Cleansing Wildfire. Gonna keep this. This is a really good hand. So we can get a turn 3 Fire's Invention, turn 4 Golos, probably. Opponent mulls. Yeah, just this Wildfire start is just wonderful. Maybe Thoughtseize. Alright, let's see what you take. I mean, you could take the fires, but I'm still going to get to the Golos. The Wildfires are just, like, inevitable at this point. Alright, they are really inevitable at this point. So I'm just going to get to ramp up. Could be Rakdos mid-range for our opponent, and if it is, Anger's not too bad. Blood-Tithe Harvester, don't care too much about that. Karn's interesting. What does Karn do for me? Maybe Sky Sovereign? I don't think I'm in any rush to do that. I think I'll just do my double Wildfire turn. Please tap this and 1 red. Yeah, I think just like churning through, ramping up way ahead of our opponent, I think is a pretty good line here. I could potentially get a double with the Anger of the Gods. Yeah, I mean, that's a good anger right there. Land. Got a Fable of my own. Alright, so yeah, I'm just gonna anger and then play my own Fable. I think it's perfectly fine. So our opponent's deck runs like 3 or 4 Kolaghan's commands, so like all of my artifacts are really just kind of just here to hang out. We'll see if they actually get to do anything relevant. But the thing is, these are some powerful cards our opponent has to deal with right here and now. Alright, so there's a Chandra. Gonna add mana
It's my lucky day.
to then stomp. Okay, it's pretty good. But not good enough. I like my hand. It's staying the way it is. Must be very scary for our opponent when they see me not get rid of anything. Yeah, just submit 0. Kill Chandra. Goodbye. And yeah, you're about to see a really disgusting turn. Because Fable of the Mirror Breaker, unlike our opponents, ours is going to have haste if this Cavalier lives. Thoughtseize, help yourself. I've got 3 very good cards. And you know it! That is the second time playing this deck that I have had my opponent Thoughtseize concede being Rakdos mid-range. It's just... chef's kiss. I love it. On to the next game. We go first. This hand is slow if our opponent doesn't have creatures, otherwise it's perfectly reasonable. So we're going to keep it. We're going to go Mountain Go. There we go. Alright. Could be Anvil. I am just going to Strangle the Epicure, because I think giving them Deadly Dispute might open them up to potentially improve their hand, whereas I might not want to let them do that. Karn's going to be very good in this matchup for sure. So I could go Fable to guarantee the attack, giving me 4 mana for Fire's Invention, although I can't really guarantee that attack, so I think I'm just going to go... I really didn't want you to do that, because I don't know if you have noticed, game, but I have a card I could play that I was planning to play. Thanks. I was gonna strangle the artifacts so that they couldn't activate. But here we are. This is the world we're living in. So yeah, Karn would shut down the anvil. It also shuts down Cat Oven as well, so it's not really a planeswalker our opponent wants to see. I could also get Tormod's Crypt out of the sideboard in order to hate on the graveyard even more for Cat Oven. They shouldn't be able to do this, because it's not what I would have done if I was playing the game in paper. Thanks. I think this turn is just fires Chandra, force them to answer this. Get that pressure going.
When people start screaming, yup, you're going down.
Take damage. Alright, this might convince them to commit to the board, in which then an Anger of the Gods looks really good. And I could play Karn first in order to prevent them from sacking in response. They do have a Hive of the Eye Tyrant, which is definitely not ideal. So there's Cauldron Familiar. Darksteel Citadel for us. Alright. So, play our land. We're gonna tick up Chandra first, just in case there's a Karn on top.
This is gonna hurt.
There's a Cavalier. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cavalier. All right. Yeah, I think Cavalier is pretty good there. It's gonna reorganize my hand a little bit. I think I'm gonna get rid of like Fable, Strangle, and then after this Cavalier comes down, I'm also gonna play the Karn. I think it's hard to say because I'm not too sure whether or not I want to anger with my Cavalier in play. Maybe the sequencing could have been more ideal there. Yeah, certainly getting the Cauldron Familiar exiled would be nice, but I guess the Karn sort of achieves that goal anyway by shutting down Cat Oven and also shutting down the Anvil for the artifact tokens as well. Definitely a thing. I don't know if I've got like a hard I win the game card in my sideboard. I've got Weathered Runestone, so non-land permanents can't enter the battlefield. So that shuts down Cat Oven. Also shuts down like any flashback nonsense they might have. I can Shadow Spear to trample with Cavalier through Cauldron Familiar if they do the block and sack nonsense. I've won the game doing that as well. Yeah, our opponents assume that they can just like block forever with Cauldron Familiar, which is like the worst part of that design. And it never really works out for them. But, yep, it's pretty good. Yeah, this is kind of one of our good matchups. As long as we've got a reasonable start, we can typically beat this deck. Since obviously we do have 4 main deck Karns to shut down all of their very important artifacts, and they really need those to actually function. So killing Karn's like a top priority as long as you keep Karn alive. Might mean that actually instead of going for the -2 to go into the board, I just keep ticking up over and over again in order to make sure that he's got enough loyalty to not just like die to a Kolaghan's command or something. But that's going to do it for today's video anyway, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and if you have, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. And without further ado, going to end it off here. Take care, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.